Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the Manifold Promotional League. This is Placement Match B for the Round of 8 Group 2. These players are looking to play their way into the top 4, and these two players here, Brad and Steven, are both some of the better players of Manifold overall. So this is going to be a very good game. My name is Adam. With me here is Ambrose. Ambrose, what do these people bring to the table?
Howdy. So on Brad's side, he is piloting a Eurus deck, which we've seen a couple times. Eurus is the mono blue 45 who incentivizes you to sacrifice your own stuff by giving you bonus dice when you have few support characters in play. Now, my understanding here is that Brad has taken it out of its traditional build and has done some tweaks.
Yes, he certainly has. Brad's been talking about this specific Eurus build as this is the deck that is the best this week right now. And Brad has done some very cool stuff. Brad's playing Spiritbinder Mage, which is not traditional in Eurus decks. And he's not playing a single card that costs more than 3 gems. Usually you'll see like a couple strike downs, maybe some Proselytizer, Federation Inquisitor. No. Brad's not doing any of that. He's doing all of the cheap blue characters and some attachments, including Book of Prominence, to go on Spiritbinder Mage so that when you've spent your energy to sack a guy and draw 2 cards enough times, you can discard those cards for more white dice, which are actually excellent in Eurus. And so this is like a new version of Eurus that these are the first games that anyone's going to see it played.
Awesome. A lot of don't think I have seen Book of Prominence played
ever.
Yep.
And I hope that we get to see it today.
Yeah, that should be cool.
On the other side, we've got Steven playing actually a Brad brew. Steven's playing Lucca Barica attachments, which is I think this is literally the deck that Brad thinks is the best deck in Tyrann Sentinels.
Mm-hmm. And it's We've seen this a couple times. Same one that Jordan has been playing in the series.
It's a slightly different build. It's like 3 cards different.
Sure.
But yes, the concept is most of the cards are the same.
And we've heard Brad talk about this in commentary about how it wants to build up Lucca with attachments and get ahead sort of proactively, and then use all of the great removal in blue and green to stop your opponent from catching up to the board state. You know, one of the Achilles heels of these flagship decks is that there's a top end of how big they can grow because you're limited to the number of attachments you can have on them. And this one answers that problem very cleverly with that great removal suite.
Yes. Once you have 3 attachments on Lucca, just spend your time playing Change the Tide and Diplomatic Meeting and a bunch of stuff like that.
The other thing that's happening here, of course, is that Barica kind of forces your opponent to go after Barica first because she can pair her partner hero.
But she can't heal herself.
So that gives you a flagship who's more likely to survive until the end of the game.
Yes. It's a bad time if you choose to go after Lucca first, but then you only deal 5 damage in round 1 and then 4 damage in round 2, and Barica's heal. And
now you have to do 18 or 20 damage to take out that hero.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. So as we get down to the table here, I'd like to, as always, ask everyone to like, subscribe, and leave a comment.
You got to do it.
You got to do it. It helps you get more people to play against, which has got to be a good thing for you, right?
Only upside.
Leave a comment for what your favorite moment of the game was, and we'll get back to you and comment right back. So it looks like Brad is going to be starting off by playing an Augur's Auspice here. Augur's Auspice is like the epitome of what Eurus wants. It's a 1-cost guy.
Yep.
You activate it, roll black-white, and then when you sacrifice him, he draws you an extra card. Because this Eurus deck just wants to churn through 5 1-drop guys in round 1, 6 1-drop guys in round 2. Like, if at all possible, that is the best version of this deck.
On the other side, Steven Boston playing our Blessing of the Cloth. Just one of these really, really great rate attachments that is available.
And Lucca's trigger will roll a red dice for that attachment. And so this Blessing of the Cloth is 3 gems for 3 premium dice this round.
Pretty good.
Can't do much better than that. On the other side, you'll see Brad activated the Augur's Auspice, rolling an extra white dice. And you're going to see that a lot, this Eurus trigger going off and rolling an extra white every time he activates one of his 2 support characters.
Steven with the absolutely massive pile of dice. No damage, but some modify.
Yeah.
Likely to see some re-rolling this round, because that's not exactly where Steven wants to be.
I'm sure. So Brad is going to play a Federation Battle Mage, sacrificing the Augur's Auspice, one of the best rate 1-drops in the game. And Steven will just immediately fire off an Excommunicatus, taking out the Battle Mage.
This is kind of what you have to do, especially before a Remembrance lands. You want to, like, snap off any little pieces of removal that you can to cull that churn before it really turns into an engine.
Exactly. Take out the Battle Mage, because the Battle Mage is the highest value guy that you can use removal on in Brad's deck.
You essentially removed 2 cards with 1 card.
Yes.
Sort of. You could think about it that way if it helps.
You absolutely can. Something about these 2 decks is that Eurus is a very aggressive deck, at least the way Brad plays it. Brad is looking to kill his opponent at the bottom of round 3, because Brad will take so many little individual actions. He's very slow to do all of his damage.
Yep.
And Steven on the other side is very fast to deal his damage. If Steven is left alive with 2 health at the end of a round, Steven will be able to activate, roll 8 dice, and then, just immediately make damage.
Yeah.
Brad needs, 15 actions in order to make his damage.
That almost certainly, if this game ends in the start of a round, it's going to be Steven winning. And if it ends at the end of a round, it's going to be Brad winning.
Exactly. All right, so Steven has made all of his dice and has started resolving his damage. And Brad still tactical re-rolling, still can make a couple more dice. Steven looks like is getting 4 damage in on Eurus. I think that was 4.
Mm-hmm.
So Steven's total output this round is 4 damage and a Blessing of the Cloth on Lucca.
Which honestly, like, having the infrastructure is good, but 4 damage is kind of low for where you want to be.
Yes, I agree. Yeah. Steven's deck can make quite a bit of damage.
And the purple dice that there's a lot of purple dice here. Those are good at getting a lot of 2 side faces from your premium dice.
Yeah.
And Eurus doesn't have a ton of shields
available.
So there is some opportunity to really, really hit hard against Eurus, and not lose value
resolving
through shields.
Damages into shields. Yeah.
But the dice just didn't land that way this round.
Well, there's always next round.
Oh,
neat. So Brad, it looks like, is going for Lucca first.
That is...
And will deal 9 damage to Lucca. So...
Wow.
Usually, people will go for Barica first so that Barica doesn't get to heal at all.
Yeah.
But if you can defeat Lucca through a heal too in round 2, then you should go after Lucca first.
Absolutely.
Because then you're taking away the prestige, the Lucca's trigger. Like he's just excellent to go for if you can.
Yeah.
But...
And the position that Brad was in, looking at 9 damage, like, if Steven rolled under curve, I think Brad came out a little ahead.
Yes.
/ sometimes Eurus just is like that.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, he didn't have any interaction coming in from Steven's side in terms of shields or anything like that. So it's terrifying to make that choice, but I can see it paying off.
I agree. So Steven played an Earthbinder here on Lucca and exhausted the Sentinel, and then went ahead and activated that Lucca. Brad on the other side will spend 3 of his gems on Remembrance, playing that Federation Battle Mage out of the discard, sacrificing the Clothbound Apprentice. Both these players are very experienced with these cards, with these decks, so they play very quickly and are quite good at making decisions quickly. So, it looks like... You'll also notice that Steven uses Lego shields and puts his dice on his objects that roll dice. So if you're at all confused by that, that's just the dice that those objects roll.
Yeah. And he did activate Barica and remove a dice in order to heal Lucca too.
Yes.
So Brad is now at He's committed to doing 18 total damage to take Lucca off the board.
And if he can, huge value to Brad. If he can't, that's an awful place to be.
He did 9 damage last round.
Yes, he did.
There's no reason, like, he's got Remembrance now. Like, he should be able to do it again.
He should. He certainly should. Steven is going to modify into modify and then modify 4 into damage, as this deck usually does. Lucca Barica doesn't draw that many cards, so instead of tactical rerolling a bunch, this deck modifies into modify a lot. And Steven is modifying. He's trying to figure out exactly what to do. It looks like just straight damage is Steven's choice.
Sure.
That's what, 12 damage? Well, that's better than the 4 from last round.
Yeah.
Brad's got an Augur's Auspice on the other side. Again, just as long as Brad keeps 2 or fewer support characters in play, he's going to be pretty happy. That is how that's how the Eurus trigger works.
Yeah.
Steven's going to resolve his damage here. Not much Brad is going to try to do about it. I think Brad's plan is just single-mindedly make as much damage as possible. Don't pay attention to defenses at all.
For sure.
Yeah.
And he's got some energy showing, which is how he removes characters. Eurus has sacrificed a character to draw 2. That's how he keeps his churn going. So at this point, if he's got 2 gems, his ideal play is play 2 more 1-drop characters.
Yep.
Sacrificing the existing ones first, so that every time he activates one, he's getting more white dice.
And now that he's sacking this Augur's Auspice, he'll roll an extra black dice off that remembrance as well.
Just a ton of extra, tripling the output essentially from each one of these little guys that he puts out there.
Oh, cool. So Steven has a protective rune marks, which is going to shield Lucca and roll an extra red dice, which rolled 2 damage. And now Eurus is at 12 health.
That's a lot.
We're going
into... That was a great round for Steven.
So if Brad fails to defeat Lucca, that activation and roll will probably be close to 12 damage once all the modifiers resolve.
Yeah.
So now Brad is even more incentivized and required almost to defeat Lucca here. He'll take off Lucca's shield and Steven will dig in. So now, can Brad make 10 damage? 9 plus the shield.
He's out of gems at this point.
And has all of his dice.
He's got plenty of cards. So if he gets some rerolls on he's already showing 2 damage. If he gets some rerolls on, like, let's say his red dice and turns those into another 4.
Yeah.
He could get there.
He could tactical reroll the white dice into an energy and then spend it to sacrifice the martyr for the old gods, rolling black off remembrance and modifying 1.
Yeah.
Like, that's pretty good.
That's also good.
Tactical reroll there rolled a bunch of modifying damage. So what is that? 2, 4, 6, 8, 10 with the 3 modify on the red, green. Brad's gonna get there. Brad got there.
Wow.
Okay, so Steven's
already.
Yeah, Steven knows what's coming, but Brad hasn't actually literally done it yet. So Brad will take another tactical reroll here, getting more damage and a modify.
At this point, he's just going for maximizing, getting as much out of this as he can, because every piece of damage he can overkill into Barica at this point sets him up in an even safer position.
Absolutely. So that there will be enough to take out Lucca and deal, I think, 2 damage, 1 or 2 damage to Barica after the shield. Wild.
And health-wise, this looks really good, but because so much infrastructure on Steven's side was tied up in Lucca, and it is now gone, and Brad's deck is just churning, it doesn't need the infrastructure, he's just always going to continue doing the same thing. That is a huge swing in board presence in Brad's favor. Yeah,
it really, really is. Now, Steven can, of course, play a 3-cost attachment and a 4-cost Rumble of the Grotto or whatever, and make more dice and make his... Yeah, there we go. Earthbinder on Barica here is going to exhaust Farish Battle Mage. Yeah. That'll be good. I don't think Steven can get to 12 damage this round. And I think that Brad will be... I don't know that Brad can make 15 damage, but he certainly could if all of the dice rolls well and he has enough little guys and cards in hand and stuff.
Yeah, it's gonna be close.
Yeah. Return to soil here.
That's
That'll take out Brad's remembrance.
Yeah, I mean, this is obviously the infrastructure is gone, but we were saying like using the removal on this deck to stop your opponent from outpacing you.
Yeah.
And that remembrance could be worth as much as like 3 to 4 black dice this round. So
something like that.
That's a pretty solid chunk.
That's a pretty solid chunk. So, oh no. Steven will activate Barica, rolling 4 dice, including 6 damage, but Brad has a protection of belief, which is going to take out 4 of that damage.
And so he gets 2 in.
Yeah, Steven gets 2 damage in and will draw 1 card and then dig in on Barica.
And even if Brad doesn't get to 15, he's going to get
7.
A lot more than 2.
Yeah, 9 damage, something like that.
Yeah.
Wow. Yeah, Brad just has 5 damage through a shield here before spending gems.
Also with a crackle.
Brad will crackle his own martyr for the old gods?
Oh my gosh. Is that what happened? That's what happened.
That is what happened. Why is that what happened?
Does he need cards? Does he need to draw cards? Did he modify into damage?
He modified into damage.
But
oh wow. Brad had 2 support characters and no way to get rid of them.
Got it.
So he couldn't keep churning through his guys without getting rid of one.
I would not make that play in a million years.
But
not because it's bad, because I wouldn't see it.
So Brad's going to activate play and activate Sapphire Apparition here, rolling energy, which lets him sacrifice draw 2 cards and find a Spirit Binder Mage to play and activate with a Blessing of the Cloth here. And now Brad's just all gas right now.
Yep.
Wow. Okay. So some out-of-the-box thinking there got Brad from a kind of weird position in terms of not being able to sacrifice his guys into, like, winning the game here? So that energy is going to modify Brad's blue dice into 2 damage and then take off Barica's shield and hit for 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 13 damage. Barica's at 2.
Wild.
Eurus is an aggressive deck. And I know we said if these players are on low health going into a round, Steven is likely to win that game. That's not true. That's not true right now.
No. You got to have the infrastructure, and this has just all happened too fast. Steven hasn't been able to...
Brad has a crackle in hand. Brad just shows Steven the crackle.
There it is.
Steven probably just asked, do you have crackle because I can't beat crackle? And Brad did. And that's that.
That was so fast. This
blistering.
Was the top of round 3.
Yes. Yes, it is.
First activation. First action.
First action. And that's what Eurus does on its best day, is beat your opponent in round 3. Now, as the first action of round 3, crackling for the last 2 damage is like a super high.
Yes. Yeah.
But that is possible, and that is what the best Eurus games look like from a Eurus player.
Your opponent does have to be at 2 or 3.
Yes.
Or, sub 3 for that to be the thing.
Yeah. But there we are.
Cool.
Okay, so Brad is going to be going on to the winner's match, and Steven is going to the rebound match coming up in the next couple of videos. Thanks so much for watching. This group is shaping up to be an excellent one, isn't it?
It's turbocharged.
It is, in fact, turbocharged. Awesome. Well, we'll see you in the next turbocharged game. Thanks for watching.
See y'all later.